Hello everyone. Very good morning to you all. I'm very happy to see you daily in the morning, and we are sharing very important things, of course, for this exam. And today, first of all, I would like to welcome you all to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English channel. Today, we'll be discussing most important concept, that is preamble and the important articles. This is what we are going to discuss today. Fine, so let's go into that. Before that, some small introduction. We are going to do this with India's largest learning platform, and what you will get out of it is daily live classes, live tests and quizzes, structured courses, unlimited access. So these are all very good benefits that you will get. And how can you get all these benefits? Is obviously downloading the Unacademy learning app. So instead of uh, you know uh, instead of going in person and listening to classes, this is very comfortable at any time, at any place, irrespective of everything. The internet is available to almost everyone now, and this is very good for us. And about me, you could have seen me already, but this is a short introduction. And myself, I'm an engineer, Suba Keerthana, I'm an engineer, and I have 4 years of teaching experience in terms of civil services and TNPSC also. And I have mentored more than 100 students, and I'm an anthropology faculty. That's why I've given you two links of Telegram group. So this is a Telegram channel where we discuss GS, and this is a Telegram channel where it is especially for anthropology optional. Okay, in terms of anthropology, don't worry, I'll definitely help you and I'll guide you about that. And next, teaching experience in NEET. So I do have teaching experience in NEET because I like science and I like teaching children. And what are all the classes I give for you? So I have classes in YouTube. One is in the morning, what we are interacting now. This is Polity explained for UPSC for both prelims and mains. Ethics is especially for mains. Yesterday you can see a session understanding ethics, like let's be a bureaucrat with ethics. That's completely to understand ethics. So that afternoon session at 2:30 p.m. is something we'll be having for GS4 paper ethics. And in special classes, it's a quick revision for current affairs for prelims 2020, and that I'm taking in the Unacademy platform. That's a free class, special class for everyone. I have planned especially for people who are giving your attempt this year, October 4th. Fine, and then I have shared you my Telegram channel, and you all have the opportunity to interact with the top educators. These educators have the experience in terms of teaching students, and also they know the demand of the UPSC exam. That is very, very important. And the syllabus is designed according to what is the need for the exam. Okay, it's not just like that. It's not just about finishing the syllabus. It's about what the exam demands. That is what I want you also to understand, and that is what we also will give you. And how can I subscribe, ma'am? There are different fee structures. You can just see. For 1 month, you have a fee structure. 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, you have a fee structure. You can just see. See, for 1 month, it's 8,000, but for 12 months, it's just 44,000. Okay, so these kind of things, like, it's all very good for you. It's all, very useful for you. And I'm giving you a gift here. So when you are subscribing, you can use my code SUBA. Simple. My name SUBA. So you get a 10 percentage of offer applied in your fee, subscription fee. And there is something called as Iconic and Plus. In Plus, you have live classes, test series, unlimited practice, structured schedule. Yes. In Iconic, along with this, you have a personal coach. You have a structured schedule. You have a study planner, and the coach will check if you are doing it or not. So this is really good. This is very successful for both, for all the people who are writing their first attempt or second attempt or third and fourth attempt. You are not aware of why I'm not able to clear all the levels. So everyone can opt for this. Here also I give my gift to you. You can go for my code SUBA to get a 10 percentage of discount. So at this price, all these things you get is something win-win. So you can definitely opt for it. And this is what is about Plus. I told you Plus is a very decent course. We have test batch included. That's something good. Test batch included. Usually, instead of paying separate for test batches, it's test batch included, where the educator will come and discuss with you. So online test batches usually it's not like that, but here it is really good. Next. So this is my special class. I told you about my special class, and it's really interactive, and I'm very happy about that. So everybody is like thumbs up, ma'am. Yes, we understood. Good, happy. It's a very interactive session. Today we have a class at 7 p.m. It's discussion related to current affairs. For this attempt, you can all come. Okay, you can all join my class. So you can just come to my profile and see what class I have today. So I will be having a special class. You can just register for it, and we'll meet in the evening session also. Fine. So now going into the concept. So I told you today when you see when you are watching this topic, important articles and preamble. So important article is something we need to keep it in mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss an interesting topic which is preamble of Indian Constitution, and then we'll go to the important articles. So today we are going to finish most important concepts, preamble of Indian Constitution and important articles. Now, why preamble of Indian Constitution is very important. See, we got this concept of preamble from the American Constitution. Okay, American Constitution has preamble, so we thought, okay, this will be good, and we took preamble. We took the concept of preamble from the American Constitution. What is preamble? So usually when you study a book, when you read a book, you have something called as preface. So preface gives you a idea about what that book is about. So this preamble is also something like a preface to Indian Constitution. So it holds the essence of Indian Constitution. So what does Indian Constitution say? What is the quality of Indian Constitution? So this you actually can understand from preamble. Above all that, you can understand the heart. You can understand what was the intention of constitution makers. Heart of constitution makers can be understood from the preamble. So what was their mentality, what they really wanted in future? So that is what is something you can actually understand, from the preamble. So we'll go deep into this. Fine. So related to our preamble, we got this preamble based on the objective resolution drafted and moved by Pandit Nehruji, then adopted in the Constituent Assembly. Okay, so this objective resolution is what we have now as the preamble. So preamble was formed way before the Constitution itself. Okay, even before independence in 1946 itself, the objective resolution was designed. Later, it was adopted. Okay, so minds of makers of Constitution is reflected in the preamble because it is the philosophical base of the Constitution. So it is the philosophical base. What is the philosophy of Constitution? What is the quality of Constitution? What is the concept of Constitution? So that you can understand from the preamble. So these are just the introduction. From here, we start the actual content needed for your prelims and mains. So anything you are studying here is not just for prelims or not just for mains, it is for both. Proper understanding is needed. So what kind of question can come in the prelims and mains? Um, Fine. So you are asking me objective resolution. Objective resolution means, you know what is objectives? So objective means there are some list that we are about to do. We are about to complete. So objectives of the subject means what does that subject give us? The same way objective resolution means what this constitution is going to do. That is called as objective resolution. What we those people, the people of constitution makers, what they will be doing, how they are going to design the constitution. That is what is called as the objective resolution. And Jawaharlal Nehru actually prepared that objective resolution, in which he mentioned how our India should be. Okay, that is the idea what all the constitution makers wanted our country to be. That is called as the objective resolution. Okay, so good morning everyone. So yeah, you are all joining one by one. So I'm once again wishing you all good morning because you are seeing me the very morning. I want you all a very happy and smiling life, and keep smiling. So let's continue. So components of preamble. So what is the components of preamble? Okay, ma'am, do Constituent Assembly come under objective resolution? See, objective resolution is a document. Keep that in mind. Do not think that objective resolution is a body. Objective resolution is a document. That document contains some objectives. Those objectives are like checklist for the constitution makers. It's very simple. Okay. objective resolution was formed even before the Constituent Assembly, the Constitution was made. Okay, so it was like a preface, it was like an introduction. So it was like a goal for the constitution makers. That objective resolution gives us a clear-cut idea about what the constitution is like. Okay, so don't worry about this. Objective resolution is what we have now as the preamble. That's a document prepared by Jawaharlal Nehru ji, which contains the essence of constitution. That's all. Okay, fine. So, reveals that the constitution, what are all the components? Reveals that the constitution derives its authority from the people of India. That's very important because the preamble starts like we the people of India. Constitution, see who's supreme is constitution. But actually, the constitution itself is getting power from who? The people. That preamble actually gives us the clear-cut idea about. Okay, so that is the thing. Nature of Indian state, we know when we discuss salient features of Indian constitution, we have part 1 and part 2, two lectures on salient features of Indian constitution. In that, we have this, nature of Indian constitution. We have sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic, all these things we just discussed. So objectives, what are all the objectives? Uh, Justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. These are the words which are in the preamble. We are going to see everything in detail. Okay, so because what kind of question can come in terms of prelims or in terms of mains is simple questions like the term secularism, mentioned in the preamble. What does this imply? Or when is it added? These kind of question can be asked both in terms of prelims and mains. So proper understanding of this is very, very important. Fine. We'll go to the next. So this is the preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So, in 1946, when the objective resolution was formed, it was signed by the Constituent Assembly makers or the Constitution makers on 26th November of 1949. This itself can be a question. Which of the following date is mentioned in the preamble? Okay, so very, very important concept. Okay, fine. So next. So in this, see this side, you don't worry. So here you have secular. I'm writing it here. You have the term secular here. So that is something which is hiding. So I'm really sorry for this. So let's continue. So sovereign. So you can just see socialist and secular. I have given it in terms of italics, which means it was added later. We'll see all these things. Which was the amended? It was added. What else was amended? Preamble can be amended. We'll be seeing that also. Can preamble be amended? That itself can be a question. Preamble can be amended also. Okay. So these things, these are the quality of constitution. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic gives us the idea about what is the quality of a constitution. These are objectives: justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. These are all objectives. Objectives is goals that has to be achieved by our Indian constitution. That's called as objectives. Okay, so we'll see all these things in detail. So see this question, you can see justice, social, economic and political. This was once asked. What are the three kinds of justice mentioned, or what are all the kinds of justice mentioned in the preamble? So they'll use social, economic and political, social, economic, economic, political. These kind of options can be given, or all the above options also can be given. So very, very important. We'll see them in detail now. Sovereign. So what does sovereign mean? So sovereign means independent, not just independent, it's self-governing. Okay, We are not governed by anyone. So that is called as self-governing. We are not controlled by anyone. Parliament is sovereign. Here the decision is taken by many important decisions. Actually here who is powerful is actually Parliament. No individual person is powerful in our country, and we are not under the control of any country. India is an independent nation. We are not dominion. Okay. What happens here is dominion status we actually rejected very long back. Okay. We wanted to be independent, Swaraj. We wanted independent nation. So that is the thing. So what happened? Membership of Commonwealth nation was awarded to us. So we know what is Commonwealth nation. Commonwealth nation, very important. Commonwealth nation means that countries which were once under British. So they together combined to form a organization which is called as Commonwealth nation. So when we were awarded the permission, or when we were invited to join the Commonwealth nation, which British Crown has said, we joined it. Okay, but that doesn't affect our sovereignty because that was our own decision, and Commonwealth cannot control our functioning of the government. So that is why, even though we are members of Commonwealth nation, okay. So I'll explain dominion. So since you asked dominion means that, so best example for dominion is Australia. Okay. So what is dominion? Now let's take a country. There is a country called A. This country, there is a country called a country called B. So I'm telling B is dominion of A. What does that mean? That means this country B has a parliament. Okay. They have their government, everything is fine. But for every decision, they should get the permission from the head of A. That is, they should go and get the signature of A. So even today in Australia, what they do is they go to the British to get, they go to the England to get the signature. For example, we have our own president, but in Dominion, president or the head will be in some other country. Every function will take place. But for every function, they have to go and get permission from the head who is ruling that country. Ruling in the sense they do not completely control, but that permission part alone is very important, that they have to get permission. That's called as dominion. Okay. Yes, dominion means Australia is not sovereign but have parliament. Yeah, the same thing. Australia is not sovereign. Dominion, if a country is dominion, they cannot be sovereign. Keep that in mind. Dominion is they have their government, they rule, everything is fine. But for everything, permission should be coming from a different country who is controlling their dominion. Okay, the same thing happens. So, member of UNO before independence. So, we were the member of United Nations organization. So, United Nations organization, though we are the member of United Nations organization, they cannot control us. That is a major reason. Usually when you see, this is something very interesting, listen to this. This will help you in, solving many questions. When you are studying any international organization, you will be seeing something called as legally binding. So what does legally binding means? Legally binding means it doesn't mean that international organization can question us or can pass any legal sanctions on a country which is not listening to it. That is not the reason. Legally binding means they give us a framework. With that framework, that country should create their own law. Okay, that is the meaning of legally binding. So I'm repeating clearly, if a country is sovereign, no other organization can control that country. No other organization can create rules and regulations for that country. They can be legally binding, which means they just give a framework. With that country has to create their own law. For example, we know that Convention on Biological Diversity is legally binding. CBD is legally binding. So that means Convention on Biological Diversity will give a framework. Our parliament has to create a law. So who is sovereign here? Parliament is sovereign. Parliament only can control our country. No other organization out of our country can control India. That is the meaning of sovereign. We are independent and self-governing. No one is controlling us. That is the exact meaning of sovereign. Okay. This is very important concept because when you see the term legally binding in international organization, Don't think that that organization is giving rules and regulations for our country. They just give a framework. They just give a model to create our own law, okay, our own national law. This is the meaning of sovereign. Fine? Yes. But does not affect. So this is the thing. We, even though we are member of United Nations organization, we are member of so much international organization. It can be environmental organization, economical organization, political organization, anything. But we are sovereign because they can just give us suggestions. They can just give us framework, not rules and regulations by itself. Okay, fine. India can acquire a foreign territory or cede a part of its territory. It is our own decision. See, like Kachativu was given to Sri Lanka. So, and again, now in Bangladesh, what happened? We just signed a treaty and we exchanged some land so that it is comfortable for both the nations. So, these kind of giving and taking territory is decided by our own country, not by any other country. So, sovereign means we create, we rule ourselves, we create our own law. The head is within our nation, from our nation. Who is president? President is always Indian citizens. When you see the qualification of president, the first and foremost thing is Indian citizen. Okay, so this is the meaning of sovereign. Proper understanding of every word in the preamble is very important. Fine. Because why it is very important, you can get question from that itself. Explain what does sovereign mean in the preamble. So you have to mention all these points in the mains. In prelims, what can be asked? Which of the following clearly explains that India is a sovereign nation? They will be giving some statements. You have to choose the best statement. Okay. So this is how it works for both prelims and mains. Next is socialist. See, socialism is something very beautiful. Usually, in terms of economical part of any government, there are three different kinds of ideology. So one if we see is capitalist. Next is communist. Third is socialist. What is the difference between these three? Capitalist means profit is the only motive. In capitalism, the preference is profit. Profit is the preference. I'm writing it again. Profit is the only preference in capitalist. In communist, profit is not the only ideology. Here in communist, the ideology is equality, equal sharing. Okay. Socialist means welfare. Welfare here, welfare is the priority. So I'm repeating, in capitalist, profit is the priority. In communist, equality is the priority. In socialist, welfare is the priority. Simple. Okay. Fine. So these are all there. Why we did not choose the other two and why we became socialist? I'll tell you the reason. What happens in capitalist is, see, imperialism is different. Imperialism means one country ruling, capturing another country and controlling it. Communism is, different. Communism is different. Why we chose socialism means, if we are capitalist in nation, who is earning money will have it for themselves and they'll try to earn even more money, and privatization, private property will be very high. So what happened? There will be very high gap. This is the problem with capitalist. Yes, we will develop, the GDP will be very high. Now we'll be having so much innovations, competition will be there in capitalist. So many innovations are there. So everything is fine. But why are we not going to capitalist? Is that in capitalist the problem is inequality. Inequality is a major problem in terms of capitalist because rich will get richer, poor will get poorer. Fine, fine, ma'am. If inequality is a problem, why don't we go to communism? So we'll see about communism. In communism, what happens? Irrespective of whatever you earn, okay, irrespective of whatever you earn, it will be taken by the government and it is shared by the government. So what happened? Innovation and competition will not be there. For example, I'm having a company, I'm finding something, okay, it's a very good thing, it's a very high potential of earning money. But what happens? The government is coming and taking over it. So, so the problem is that I am thinking, okay, whatever I do, I'm not going to get any benefits. Why should I, work more for that? That thought will come to me. So when communism comes, innovation and competition will reduce. So this is the major problem. Healthy competition will reduce. So we went for something called a socialist. So socialist means private, public organizations will be there. Private organizations also will be there. There will be a coexistence of public and private. So what is the good thing about this? Competition will be there, innovation will be there, and at the same time, those services are also offered by public, so that people who are poor will go to the public services, people who can afford will go to the private services. Okay, so the equality can be achieved and the inequality will reduce. This is the major thing. And one more thing, if you are seeing, if you are going to going to fundamental rights, we have right to occupation. Okay, you can ask me, ma'am, right to occupation, what does this have with socialist? So if you are seeing this right to occupation, there is an exception. What is this exception is, in any occupation or in any industry, if the government decides that it is very important to take over, government can become a monopoly. Monopoly means government is the only player in that particular field. Government has the power to declare any industry or any institution and take it as its own monopoly. So that is means whenever there is welfare of the people at stake, government can come inside and control it. So that is the example of socialist. Okay? Yes. Yes, in China, they, most of the thing, everything is controlled by government itself, because China is having, communist. China is communist in nature. Russia is communist in nature, which means that most of the things are controlled, completely controlled by the government. Okay, so that even the media, we know very well, that's very famous. Media is completely controlled by the government. Media, the government decide what has to be shown in the media. Okay, so that itself is controlled by the government. Now do you understand what is the difference between capitalist, communist and socialist, and why did we choose socialist? I think you're all clear now. Fine? Yes. So this is the thing, coexistence. In terms of socialist coexistence, the term, it's very important. But due to LPG reforms, this is not completely removed, but it has been diluted, somewhat diluted. Okay, we are also becoming, we are a socialist with a tilt towards slight capitalism. Okay, that is the real picture of how our country is now. Fine, next we'll go secular. See, secularism is something very interesting. I love secularism. Okay, if you ask me, ma'am, what religion you belong to, I'll tell you it doesn't matter. Okay, so that is the thing. So secularism is a very beautiful concept. That too, Indian secularism is a very beautiful concept. In our country, since our country is having a vast variety, vast diversity in terms of culture, Indian secularism is something unique where the government respects all religion equally. That is the main thing. Okay, fine. See, competition. So someone asked me, ma'am, but competition is high in China and economic, right? Because the government is creating that they are competing with the world level. Okay, within the country, the competition is not there because they are doing everything. But on the world level, they are controlling everything. That is why China is becoming an economic giant now. So you can just see when it comes to China, I'll tell you one thing very good about China is like why they are becoming an economic giant. Especially now when we want to ban Chinese product, only now we are realizing that most of the things we are using are Chinese products. Fine, because the very good thing about them is they were very silent. They were nearly invisible in the market. They actually spread themselves almost everywhere in every countries. That is a speciality. It is a speciality of China. Okay, so they had their competition with the world countries. Within them, they did not have competition because everything was controlled by them. Okay, that is a major thing. Okay, next. So yes, secularism, we were talking about secularism. So Indian secularism, since we are having a vast diversity, Indian secularism is an innovation of our own country because it's a positive secularism where all religions have equal respect. There is no such thing called as state religion. That's very important. The term secularism means, the basic term secularism means no state religion. That is the basic term of secularism. After that, we have positive and negative. Negative is Western, positive is Indian. Here, all religions are respected. But here, what happens? Religion and state has no relationship. Religion and state has no relationship. That is the Western secularism. No, that's why we call it as negative. In positive secularism, we have all religions have equal respect. Okay, that is the difference between Indian secularism and Western secularism. Fine. Next, Supreme Court said in 1974 that although the words secular states were not expressed or mentioned in the constitution, makers wanted the state to be like secular. So later what happened 1976, see the timeline. In 1974, in 1974, Supreme Court mentioned that even though the term secular is not mentioned, the term secular was not mentioned in the constitution. Even though we had right to freedom of religion, but explicitly the term secularism was not mentioned. So what happened in 42nd Amendment Act of 1976? The term secularism was added. The term secular was added in the preamble. Okay, so that's why I have mentioned it in terms of slanting. Okay, Article 25 to 28, that's what I told you, right to freedom of religion, guaranteeing the fundamental right to the freedom of religion. Okay, very important. See, before going to the next topic, I would all like to tell you something. This I might be repeating again. I will definitely be repeating again in my classes. First, be a human being, and then you can think about religion, and then you can think about anything else. Being a human being is the first identity. If you lose that identity, there is no meaning of having n number of identities in your life. Okay, why human beings are very successful compared to other organisms is we are social animals and we can form groups in a very large number. Country, world itself is united as a single group. Human beings are capable of doing that. Once we are breaking that group, once we are breaking that formation of group, a large group, we are doomed. Who is breaking those kind of groups? So the so-called identity, we call it as, religion, race, caste, sex, all these things, place of birth. These are the identities we think that it is going to help us. We think that it is going to, improve us. Obviously, these identities will help us unless and until we realize that humanity is the first identity. Only then everything comes. Secularism is one such thing. Okay, we are respecting other religion. It's not just the state that should respect all other religion. Everyone should respect all other religion. I should not have judgmental mentality towards other religion. Every religion says only one thing: love everyone around you, love everything around you. That's what, if you go deep into every religion, you will go to one end point. That end point is the philosophy of all religion. Every religion says love everyone. No religion says kill others. No religion says you are the best. No religion says you bring everyone into yours. No. Every religion says have a happy and peaceful life that can be attained when you show love towards others. Okay, that is a major thing. Love towards animals, love towards human beings, love towards plants, love towards what you are doing, everything. That is maintained by having secularism in your mind. It's not just in the preamble. Secularism has to be in your mind. Okay. In future, stop teaching children that your identity as what religion you belong to, or your identity as what caste you belong to, your identity as what country you belong to, that also should not be there. I'm telling you, humanity comes first. Only then your nationality, your religion, your caste, your race, your sex, everything comes into play. Okay, be a human first and then you think about everything else. Fine. So that is something very important I wanted to share to you all. I hope you also pass it on to the future generations. because we are the one who are bridge between the previous generation and the future generation. Leave about the past, leave about the previous generation, leave about the present generation also, how we are now. We have to try to change. That starts from ourselves. But apart from that, what you are teaching the children, what you are teaching the future generation is important. That doesn't mean that is your children alone. Every child that is watching you, every children learn by watching you. So if you are a good person only, then you can actually teach a child. Fine, keep that in mind. We'll go to the next concept. Democratic. So democratic means supreme power. People is supreme here. Okay, by the people, of the people, and for the people. We know this, very famous statement. So supreme power. Who is supreme power here is people are supreme. So there are different kinds of democracy: direct democracy, indirect democracy, etc. So direct democracy is like Switzerland, where the decisions are taken by people by themselves. There they have this concept of referendum, initiative, plebiscite, all these things. Referendum, initiative, recall, and plebiscite. I'll tell you the difference between referendum, initiative, recall, and plebiscite. First, I will tell you what is referendum versus plebiscite. So what happens if there is any change in the constitution, or if there is any major decision to be taken, either referendum is done or plebiscite is done. In both the cases, people vote directly to take a decision. Yes or no kind of decisions are taken. But what is the major difference between the referendum and plebiscite is that in referendum, whatever decision is taken, the government should accept. In plebiscite, the government can accept or cannot accept. It's like, decision of the government. Okay, this is the difference between referendum and plebiscite. Fine. Now coming to initiative and recall. Initiative means the voters itself can initiate a change. They wanted a change and they are initiating the change. Recall means there is a government official, an elected representative. People are not happy about how they perform. They can remove them from the position. Usually we have the concept of impeachment. Who will vote in the impeachment in India? The elected representative will vote in the impeachment. For example, for president, you have the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay, so that is how it works. Which means people are not voting. The elected representatives of people vote. That is why we call it as indirect democracy. But there, the people themselves will vote to remove a person from their post. That is called as recall. So these are direct democracies, and these are the meanings. What are all the functions they do in direct democracy? In indirect democracy, what we do, we choose representatives through election, and through them we are doing whatever we want. Okay, so we choose MPs or MLAs through elections. MPs or MLAs through elections, and they do what we want. Okay, either parliament or or state legislatures. Okay, so this is why we call it as indirect democracy. So supreme power to representative of people, and parliament is supreme here. And in that indirect democracy, we have parliamentary and presidential. We know very well we are parliamentary form of government. USA is the presidential form of government. Here parliament is supreme. Here president is having more power. Why we did not choose presidential? The major reason is our Indian constitution is designed in such a way there is no concentration of power. Division of power is the one important thing in terms of good governance. So our Indian constitution itself was designed such that concentration of power is not vested in single person. That's why parliament is supreme, not the president or not the prime minister or not anyone. Parliament is supreme. The collective responsibility is, it is why, because we did not want the concentration of power. Yeah. Okay. So what is the difference between plebiscite and election? Plebiscite is usually done to take a decision. For example, let's take an example. Okay. I'll give a hypothetical example. For example, we take India is needing a decision. We are passing some bill. Okay, bill related to, okay, let's take uniform civil code. So India is thinking to bring a uniform civil code. Usually who does this? Whether to bring uniform civil code or not, parliament will do that. But usually in plebiscite what happens? People will vote if they want uniform civil code or not. That is the difference between plebiscite and election. In election, we choose our representative, we choose who should rule. But in plebiscite, a decision is taken. That is the difference between plebiscite and election. Okay, fine. Next. According to B.R. Ambedkar, political democracy cannot last unless there lies at the base of it social democracy. Social democracy means liberty, equality, and fraternity. This is very true. Okay, social democracy is very important to achieve political democracy. Okay, when we are not giving liberty to people, when we are not giving equality people, and when we are not ensuring fraternity among people, we cannot expect political democracy, or we cannot expect people to take a decision which is very rational in nature. Okay, next. Republic. So republic is something, very interesting concept. Republic means, simply means, only a person elected by the people can become the head of the state, or in other words, anyone can become the head of the state. That's the simple meaning of republic. Republic means anyone can become the head of the state. Okay, that is called as republic. There is no conditions, there is no things like you should be from this family, you should be a king or a queen. Son and daughters of previous kings or queens can only come, only can become, head. That's not the case in our country. We know very well who are all the presidents of our nation. We know how vast diversity is here. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was once the president of our nation. He was from the southernmost end of our country. He was from Rameshwaram. He was from the southernmost end of the country. The present governor, he was from different place. So that is a republic. Anyone can become the head. That is a major understanding of republic. Okay. Yeah, not hereditary, not from any family. That is a major thing. So usually democratic polity has two types, monarchical or republic. So monarchical means head is either a king or queen. A single person will become a head. That family, that heredity will become, that family will become head, and hereditarily the position is passed. We know very well, either son or daughter or anyone in family of that people only can become the king or queen. But in republic, elected head, directly or indirectly. In US, it's direct. In indirectly, it is president. President election is indirect election. President election is indirect election. This is something we'll read everywhere. That's true. We are having indirect democracy, and presidential election is indirect. But keep this in mind, we are having indirect democracy. But MP and MLA election is direct. Election is direct. Direct election. President, vice president, and then Rajya Sabha, all indirect election. See if they're asking about democracy or election, because in election we have both direct election and indirect election. But in terms of democracy, we are all indirect democracies. Okay, so this is the major thing you have to understand when you are having a understanding related to all these democratic concepts. India has an elected head indirectly, tenure 5 years, who is president. Political sovereignty with people, not with single person. That's what I told you. No single person in our country is so powerful. Our constitution is beautifully designed. Just imagine, the president is the supreme commander of all the three forces. We know that very well. If the president is having so much power, what will happen? We would not have been successful democratic till today. We would have been controlled by military very late. The constitution ensures such that the concentration of power is not lying in any single hand. It's distributed all over. So if one person is, acting like controlling the country, the other person can check it. That's why even in terms of parliament and judiciary, they have their control over each other. Parliament will control, parliament can make changes in law, and judiciary can question parliament. In terms of president, if president is not listening to prime minister, not listening to the cabinet, then they can impeach president. So everybody is connected with each other, everybody is having control over some other's hand. So what happens is that they are all in control, the country is also very smooth and peaceful in nature. That is the speciality of Indian constitution. Yes. Prime Minister, we do not keep this in mind. We do not elect Prime Minister, we just elect MPs. From that, Prime Minister is selected by the President. Do you understand? Who appoints Prime Minister is President. We do not elect Prime Minister as such. We know Prime Ministerial candidate as a convention. The party will announce this person is the Prime Ministerial candidate, but we do not vote directly for someone called as Prime Minister. Okay, keep that in mind. That difference should be there. We vote for MPs. From that MP, one person is selected among themselves as Prime Minister, and President appoints that person as Prime Minister. President can also under his discretion appoint someone as Prime Minister, but the only condition is even if President is appointing someone as Prime Minister, within 6 months he should win in some election from some constituency. Okay, yes. So this is the major thing, major understanding that you should all have. We vote for MPs, we vote for member of parliaments. From that, they select the minister and the prime minister. Okay, we do not directly vote for the prime minister, we do not directly vote for the ministers. Okay, fine. Public office to all citizens without discrimination. That's also important thing. What is this article? Can anyone tell me what is this article? We have it in the fundamental rights. What is this article? Public office open to all citizens. Article? Anyone? I'm waiting for your answers. Article 16. Okay. So someone asked me repeat socialist. Socialist means public organizations will be there. Private organizations also will be there. They will coexist among each other. But what is the priority for the government is welfare of the people is the priority. For example, there is a private organization, they are doing really well. Without affecting the welfare, then that private organization is supported by the government. But if any private organization is affecting the welfare of people, the government has power to remove this private organization and become the monopoly by themselves. Monopoly is they are the only person in that. Railways is one good example of monopoly. Okay, government is only having railways. Now there is an opportunity to have private trains, not railways by themselves. Okay, so that is the only thing. Okay, next. Actually, is it Article 15 or Article 16? It's Article 16. Public office open to all people without discrimination is Article 16. Generally, prohibition of discrimination is Article 15. Okay, fine. Next. It's okay, fundamental right confuses everyone. Next class, we'll be discussing, not the next class, we have citizenship and union and its territory, because this year I am expecting one question from at least citizenship amendment related concept and related to citizenship. So we will discuss tomorrow related to citizenship and union and its territory. Next class, I mean the very next class, or on Monday. Tomorrow is Saturday, Sunday we do not have class. On Monday we'll be having class related to fundamental right. Two classes I have planned on fundamental right, part 1, part 2. Very important concept. It's not just for UPSC. If you want to live peacefully in a country, you should know what are all the rights you have. Fine. So for that, fundamental right is very, very important. Okay, next. Objectives of the Indian Constitution. We just saw the nature of Indian Constitution. What is the objective of Indian Constitution? We saw all these: equality, justice, equality, and then fraternity, all these things. So when it comes to what are all the objective, the main objective of Constitution is to promote harmony. Our Constitution wants our nation to be peaceful in nature. Okay, so the main objective is harmony, and that objective is attained by promoting liberty, equality, and fraternity. So we'll be seeing all these three in detail. Fine. This fraternity is from the French motto. From the French Revolution, we got all this concept of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Okay, French Revolution is a very interesting thing. Okay, so in world history, I want you all to know what was French Revolution And the major initiative of French Revolution was done by a person, Napoleon. So what happened was he later actually deviated from the path, and the concept, the philosophy he taught was actually against himself when he deviated from the path. Okay, so fine. We'll go to the next. Justice. So justice means it's necessary to maintain order in society that is promised through various provisions. We have fundamental right, directive principles of state policy. This ensures justice to us. So it comprises three elements: social justice, economic justice, and political justice. Very, very, very important. Social justice, economic justice, and political justice. So what does social justice mean? Social justice means we should create a society without discrimination. Society without discrimination is social justice. So this social justice, should it be there only in the constitution? No, it should be in our minds of people also. Social justice is a moral obligation. It's not just constitutional obligation. Okay. So a society without caste, creed, gender, religion, just imagine how ideal that society will be. My next, economic justice is no discrimination in terms of economy. For example, not allowing the concentration of wealth, ensuring basic income is available to everyone, and ensuring that no inequality in terms of economic status. Okay, so this is called as economic justice. Yes. Next is political justice. Political justice means people have equal, free, and fair right without any discrimination in terms of participating in the political activity. Yeah, so someone have asked me what does integrity mean. We will discuss about integrity. Don't worry, we'll discuss about this. I'll just finish this justice. So, in terms of political justice means everyone can participate in the political opportunities equally. That is, anyone can vote in election. These are the things which ensures political justice. Anyone can vote in elections, anyone can participate in election, and anyone can become representative of people. These are the things very important for political justice. Okay, fine. Equality. Equality means no section of the society has special privileges and all people have given equal opportunities. That is, everyone is equal before law. So, in terms of equality, when we study about fundamental rights, the first thing, first Article 14 is right to equality before law. That is the major thing. Okay, so that is called as equality. Next is liberty means freedom for the people to choose their way of life, have political views and behavior in society. So in Russia recently we saw that Mr. Putin have won an election saying that he can rule for up to 2036 or something. Okay, but that is not liberty. Okay, we have the liberty to choose our representative, we have the liberty to have our own political ideas, we have the liberty to express what we think, all these things. Liberty does not mean the freedom to do anything and everything. No, liberty means there is a limit set by law, within that we have the liberty. There is a saying that your liberty ends at my nose. That is, you cannot interfere in my liberty and I cannot interfere in your liberty, such that the constitution has made clear cut laws that everyone's individual liberty is preserved. Okay, individual liberty is also preserved, at the same time social morality is also preserved. Okay, we have a balance. That's why we have a reasonable restriction in terms of fundamental rights. Fine. Next, fraternity. So fraternity means a feeling of brotherhood and an emotional attachment with the country and all people. So when I think like we say India is my country, all Indians are my brothers and sisters. That term all Indians are my brothers and sisters means fraternity. We know the pledge, national pledge we would have taken in schools. Everyone would have taken in schools. Fraternity means all Indians are my brothers and sisters. That is called as fraternity. Fraternity helps to promote dignity and unity among the nation. Now, when you ask me what is integrity, integrity means uh, integrity means there is a unity among people always. Integrity and unity. We always say strong and united. That is called as integrity. Saying strong always is called as integrity. Say staying strong and united. Okay, that comes under fraternity concept. Fine. Next, importance object of the subjectives. See, very important. It's a very beautiful concept. Liberty cannot be divorced from equality, because without liberty we cannot attain equality, number one. And equality cannot be obtained when there is no liberty. Fine. And liberty and equality cannot be taken away from fraternity. When I want to be feeling you as a brother, when I want to feel you as a sister, we should both be equal. If we are not both equal, what will happen? We will develop enmity among ourselves, and we won't have that feeling of fraternity among ourselves. Without equality, liberty will produce supremacy over many. Okay, that is a major thing. What happens? One will start ruling over the other. That is it. That is simple thing, because we have abolition of titles, which means that no one should be using their title except their educational or academic titles. Which means that the terms like Raja, Maharaja should not be used now, because no one is controlling no one here. Even the ministers are not controlling us. They are creating laws for us. They are creating a way that we are comfortable in our country. Okay, so without fraternity, liberty will produce supremacy few over the other, and without fraternity, liberty and equality, our country cannot become a very peaceful thing. We cannot achieve harmony in our country. Okay, that is a major thing. So what is the status of preamble? Very important. In Berubari reunion case, uh, the Supreme Court held that, this is very important because usually question comes from this. Is it a part of constitution? Is it not a part of constitution? Is it a source of power? Is it not a source of power? Everything we'll just see it. Okay. Yes. Okay. So Padma Shri, we cannot actually use it in terms of documents. Okay, that is a major thing. You are asking in terms of, when we talk about them, yeah, we can use it, but that cannot be a power. Padma Shri award is not a source of power. Just because I got Padma Shri, I will not get any special, special support from government. Government will treat everyone equally. That is the major meaning of abolition of title. Abolition of title means I got Padma Shri, so when someone, if I'm going to a function, they'll say Padma Shri with my name. That's fine. But government will not give you any special provision because you are a Padma Shri award holder. Okay, that's the thing related to abolition of titles. Fine. Berubari case, I know why you're asking. Usually, we see these, cinema actors. Usually, that is how we are exposed to these kind of, more about these kind of awards. Usually when we see the cinema actors, singers, and then players, we usually see someone announcing with that, title. But that doesn't mean government will give them any special provision. Okay, keep that in mind. So in Berubari case, what you have to keep it in mind whenever you are talking about the status of preamble, you have to know the case. What is the verdict? That's all simple. Don't confuse yourself with anything. First, in Berubari reunion case, what was the stand of Supreme Court? It cannot be considered as a part of constitution and not enforceable, which means not justiciable. Not justiciable. This was from the Berubari reunion case. Next. Yes, next. Case 1 in the Bharati case. In case 1 in the Bharati case, what they said? Court held that preamble can be now considered as introductory part of the constitution, and it's not the supreme power or source of any restriction. Keep this in mind. Till today, preamble is not a source of power. Preamble is not a source of power, and it is not justiciable in nature. But but it can be used as a reference. It can be used as a reference. Keep that in mind. If there is any doubt, related to what is the quality of constitution, we can refer to preamble, but it is not any source of power, which means that we cannot question anyone, we cannot question the government with respect to some statement mentioned in the preamble. That is the meaning of non-justiciable. Okay, and it is not the supreme power. It is a part of constitution, but not source of power of constitution. Okay, yes. Okay, so free railway tickets and all are allowances. It is not special treatment. It's all allowances. Allowances are different, and the special provision is different. For example, if we are talking about people who are getting Padma Shri can get elected in the election, that is a special provision given by the government. No, railway tickets and all these things, medical expense, these are all like allowances. Since they got Padma Shri award, it's like just out of respect, but they are not legal. Okay, they cannot go and claim legally. I got Padma Shri. Why you are not giving me this? Legal claiming cannot be there. Okay, that is the difference between this. Fine, next. Union government versus LIC. In that, Supreme Court held that preamble is the integral part. Okay, so don't worry, I'm going to revise all these things again. Integral part of the constitution, but is not directly enforceable in a court. Okay, so I'm repeating all these things. We just saw three cases. So what are those three cases? In first Berubari case, in Berubari case, preamble is not a part. And then Kesavananda Bharati case, preamble is introductory part. Introductory part. And finally, LIC case, it is an integral part. See, these terms are very important. I am telling you, UPSC will ask question from this. So in Berubari case, not a part. Kesavananda Bharati case, introductory part, and LIC case, it's an integral part. But in these two things, or every time they say that it is not justiciable. Justiciable and not a source of power. So very important. These should be understood. Okay, simple. Fine. So we'll go to the next amendments. What are all the amendments that have taken place in 42nd Amendment Act? This is the only amendment till now preamble have taken place. And in the Kesavananda Bharati case, Supreme Court has said that preamble can be amended under Article 365 without disturbing the basic structure. We'll have a special class on basic structure, don't worry. Without disturbing the basic structure of constitution, preamble can be amended under Article 368, which is with the special majority. This is preamble, this special majority. So 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, according to that, what were all added is that we have added socialist, secular, integrity. These three terms were added under the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. Okay, the socialist and secular were added between sovereign and democratic, and unity of nation was changed to unity and integrity of nation. Okay, so unity is being together, integrity is strength of the nation. Strength of the nation is called as integrity. Okay, so very important concept. Okay, so related to basic structure, I'll give you a small introduction, very small introduction, a very basic introduction. Basic structure means our constitution has certain quality. Okay, that quality should not be changed by any amendment. For example, socialist, secular, integrity, these are all the basic concepts, basic structures. We cannot change our country. Today our country is secular. Tomorrow I cannot say we are not secular. That's the basic structure of our constitution. So there are something called as basic structure, and who decide what is the basic structure is? Supreme Court will tell is this the basic structure or not, because Supreme Court is the final interpreter of the constitution. Okay, so this is something basically basic structure means the constitution has an inherent quality. That quality should not be disturbed. That quality is given name as basic structure by the Supreme Court. Okay, because when basic structure is changed by amendment, the very nature of constitution will change, and why this constitution was formed, and this will affect the future of our nation. Okay, fine. Next, important articles coming to something really important for polity. So I have given you some list of important articles here, in which when you remember all these articles alone, what will happen is that you will keep in your mind these articles, so that you can actually eliminate in options, and you can find it very easy for answering these article based questions. So I told you already from article 1, to 51A, all the articles are very important. and especially in terms of fundamental rights, DPSP, and fundamental duties, we know it's Article 51A. But these two are very important. All the articles you should be very thorough about. Okay, yes. And since someone asked me, Supreme Court repealed its own judgment. Actually, Supreme Court can repeal its own judgment under Article 13, which is called as judicial review. So when we discuss about this fundamental right, Article 13, I will explain you. Supreme Court can have the power of, looking at important judgments, executive orders, even its own judgment, and take it as judicial review and can change that. Supreme Court has power of changing that or altering its own judgment. Okay, yes. So so these are the important articles we know very well. Article 1, Article 1, 3. I'm not explaining every article, because explaining every article means I'm explaining the complete constitution. I'm just going to tell you these articles are very important, and which articles are so important that usually comes in question again and again. Fine. So name and territory of union, new state formation, Article 3, very important, and Article 13. So that is called as judicial review. I just told you judicial review. So law inconsistent with or derogation of the fundamental right can be struck down by the Supreme Court. That is called as the judicial review of Supreme Court. Judicial review means Supreme Court has the power to cancel any law, cancel any executive order, or cancel its own judgment. Okay, that is called as judicial review. Article 13, very, very important, because without knowing Article 13, you cannot answer many prelims or mains question by itself, because judicial activism and judicial review is something very, very connected. Judicial activism means judiciary is becoming so active that it is hampering the function of government. That is like judicial activism. So it's linked with judicial review. Next is equality before law, prohibition of discrimination. I just told you equality in case of public employment, Article 16. I told you now. Now there are so many things related to this Article 16. Why? Recently, UPSC is also have released the results, and this reservation has been questioned. Okay, this reservation has been questioned recently. So reservation comes under exception under Article 16. Okay, so and one more thing, reservation in terms of promotion for SC ST was ruled as not a fundamental right by Supreme Court recently. Okay, so this is the important concept. Next is abolition of untouchability, abolition of titles. I told you. See, fundamental rights, I'm telling you, all the articles are important. There is no such article you can eliminate in terms of fundamental right. Very, very important. Because without fundamental right, what happens is that the government will become tyranny in nature. They will start controlling every citizen in our nation. Next. Freedom of speech and expression will always in the news. Why? Freedom of speech and expression is also including social media now. Keep that in mind. It includes social media also. Fine. So this is something very important. That's what I told you. Someone have asked me, can amendment remove the terms from the preamble without affecting the basic structure? Preamble can be amended. But the reality is what is a reality is, the socialist, secular, democratic are all the basic structure of constitution. They tell us what is the constitution. That's the quality of constitution. These words cannot be removed. Okay, it will come under the conflict of basic structure, and Supreme Court will not allow it. Even though if there is an amendment, Supreme Court will strike it down. The concept of basic structure getting affected there. Okay. See, right to peaceful assembly, very important. It's also a form of human rights. Right to peaceful assembly is also a human rights, and especially now in terms of lockdown period, in this corona time, we know very well right to peaceful assembly is also not allowed. Okay, under without certain special provisions, without certain special conditions, right to peaceful assembly is not allowed. Okay, so like wearing mask, maintaining social distance, all these things. So this also can be asked this time. If right to peaceful assembly is a fundamental right, why we are having so much conditions? Traveling from one place to other place is a condition thing. Right to freely move freely move throughout India is a fundamental right. But we know very well without e-pass we can't go anywhere in our country today. Without permission, without e-pass, we cannot move everywhere in the countries today. So there is a problem related to right to move freely throughout India. But we should keep it in mind that today or any time fundamental right is reasonable restriction. Fine. Next, freedom of settlement and residence. Also, we have inside India, we can go and settle everywhere, anywhere, and reside everywhere. See, settlement means permanently staying in a place. Resident is temporarily. We are, staying for temporarily, and we can shift from any place to other. Okay, 19F is omitted because right to own personal property is not a fundamental right. It comes under legal right. Okay. Yes. Next is 19G, practice any provision, occupation, trade or business. I told you there is an exception where government can become a monopoly. Except government, no one can be a monopoly in our country. Government can only become a monopoly, that too under special reasons, especially where it is must for the welfare of people. Okay. Article 21, very important. Last year there was a question asked. Right to marry a person we desire is under right to life and personal liberty, and there are conditions for that. That is there, but this is very very important because at this situation of honor killing, very well related to honor killing. Honor killing is something very brutal because caste here is caste or race or religion or class is making human beings think that their children is not important, only their identity is important. That is the result of these honor killings. So this is actually under fundamental right that we can marry person whom we want to, with condition that person is also interested. Okay, so this is the thing, right to life and personal liberty. Article 21A, right to education, right to free and quality education. So till fundamental rights, see, you can see here till article 32 we know it's right to constitutional remedies. Article 32 is right to constitutional remedies. This is very very important article. Under this we have five concept. Okay, five writs. We'll see what are those writs. Don't worry, fundamental right is a special class. We'll see that. Next is Article 44, Uniform Civil Code. DPSP is also very important, mostly asked in question again and again. Why DPSP is very important is, usually before making any law or bringing any act in the parliament, the government will consider DPSP for sure. So most of the acts, most of the laws passed in the parliament are actually having a base in DPSP. Okay, sometimes DPSP is not followed, and against DPSP, some acts and some laws are brought into play. In that situation, we can be asked a question, okay, about that, and we have to keep it in mind that DPSP is non-justiciable. So when there is a violation of DPSP, we cannot question the government, but Supreme Court can insist government follow any DPSP. Fine. Okay. Yes, Dr. Ambedkar said that it's the heart and soul of Indian Constitution, Article 32. Okay, 72, powers of president to grant pardon, very important. So are you people receiving these PDFs? Are you getting these PDFs? I want to know if you are all getting these PDFs. And all these articles are very important. 76, 78, 85, Deputy Speaker and Speaker of Lok Sabha, very important. See, I'm marking what are all very important. I want you to know that for very sure. Okay. And then joint sitting, Article 108, joint sitting, very important concept. And then money bills, very important. Again and again question asked, especially 110 speaks about money bills. Okay, when we discuss parliament, we'll actually discuss about this. See, if you're not getting these PDFs, don't worry, you can join my Telegram channel, Telegram group, where I'm actually sharing my PDFs then and there. Okay, I will share my PDFs, don't worry. If I'm not sharing today also, within 3 or 4 days, I'll be just keep sharing what are all the PDFs I have for my class. Okay, both these special classes and these YouTube channels. So do not worry, you will get the PDFs for sure. You can use this PDF as a base for preparation, like for revision. You can have it, you can just watch the video again. This video, YouTube videos, you are having for n number of times. You can watch it again and again. Okay, this ordinance, Article 123, ordinance is very, very important. Okay, ordinance is very important. Appointment of ad hoc judges, and then 143 they have not given here. Advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court is Article 143. Comptroller and Auditor General of India, very important. And then powers of High Court to issue writs. 32 is for Supreme Court. Powers of Supreme Court to issue writs is Article 32. Power of High Court to issue writs is Article 226. Usually question comes from this both, because comparison, whenever you study polity, I'll tell you a small tip. Without comparison, you can't study polity properly. Okay. So when you compare to Article 32 and 226, when someone is asking who is more powerful, any guess who is more powerful in terms of these two in issuing writs? Okay, I'll tell you, High Court is having more power because High Court has two power. First is it can reject the writ. Supreme Court cannot reject the writ. Definitely it should have a hearing. High Court can reject a writ. And next is under the concept that it is not under its jurisdiction. Okay, so that is the thing. And in terms of High Court, apart from fundamental rights, other rights also can be issued writs. High Court has the power to issue writs other than fundamental right, but Supreme Court can issue writs in terms of fundamental right and it cannot reject it. Okay, yes. Yeah, so please join my channel. There I'm sharing you PDF again and again. Do not worry, even today if you join my channel also, you can get, in the Telegram channel also, you can get the PDF. I have shared the Telegram channel here. I think in the description, in this YouTube description, you can see the channel of my channel. General Studies, there is one channel, and Anthropology, there is one channel. I have shared my Telegram channel. Okay, I've given it differently, General Studies and Anthropology. Join that, I will share my PDF, do not worry. Okay, fine, next. Finance Commission, very important, and all these constitutional bodies related articles are important. Okay, so very important, and we already know the parts, so you can actually calculate, or you can actually get or guess the article correctly. Official language related article is important. And finally, in terms of national emergency, I want you to know all the three powers of all the three important all the three national emergencies. Article 352 national emergency, Article 356 President's rule, Article 360 financial emergency. Very important concept. All these things, emergencies, are very important. Now we have something called as medical emergency, but it is not mentioned in the constitution. It's taken by the government and they are doing it. Okay, but usually we have three kinds of emergency: national emergency, president's rule, and financial emergency. Under national emergency we have only two things: external aggression and internal armed rebellion. Okay, and internal, we don't have medical as of now. Maybe we might get it in the future. When we are getting it in the future, we'll definitely have this as a question in the exam. Next is amendment, very important article, Article 368, because we had so much amendments this year, so this can be asked as a question for sure. Okay, Article 370, recently it was revoked, so this related to this questions can be asked, because recently Article 370 was revoked. Okay, that's why I have given you here. And 392, power of president to remove the difficulties. These are the important articles that you should remember for sure. Oh, so keep practicing it again and again. Discuss among your friends. Create a very healthy circle where you can discuss more questions. Fine. So thank you so much. If any doubts, please do ask me. And this is my code SUBA Suba, so that you can get a 10% of discount during the subscription process. Fine, like, share, and subscribe. Do not forget to like. Do not forget to share this video. Very useful video. I want every one of you people to get benefits out of this. And subscribe this channel and click the notification bell, so whenever my video comes, you get a notification. Fine. So today afternoon we have a class in terms of ethics, and 7 p.m. sharp we have a class related to current affairs discussion. Today especially we are going to discuss related to education and society. Fine. So bye bye. Have a nice day. We'll meet in the afternoon. Do not sleep in the afternoon. Come to my class. If you are sleeping here, you sleep in the exam hall. Simple. I'm telling you, sleep here, sleep in the exam hall. CSAT 2 paper is like a magic, like a jadoo. What it will do is it will just make you sleep in the exam hall. For that, what can you do? You have to practice from today. Fine. So thank you. If any doubt, please you can post in the comment, or you come to my group where we can discuss. Fine. Meet you all in the afternoon. Bye bye.